That work?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay, great. All right, which one are you going over first today, Eric? Is it a RealScout, Homebot, or KVCore?
I think we'll start off with KVCore just because that's what we're most familiar with, and that way, as we talked about the other two, we can kind of do a comparison in our minds, and then we can go over those differences as well.
Yeah, that'd be awesome if we did kind of a cons for all of them.
Yeah.
Okay.
So first and foremost, the AVM, the What's My Home Worth, is part of our website, which is powered by KVCore. So the where you would normally get it. So this site's been slightly modified. I put a call to action here in my menu that goes directly to RealScout because that's my new best friend this year. But everybody's agent website will have a cell, and that is your link to your What's My Home Worth or your AVM. Now with KVCore, you put in the address. And then the user will put in their information.
So they have to put in their name, their email, and their phone number?
Phone number is optional. It actually doesn't force anything. So they could just put nothing and still get a value.
Oh, okay. So they only have to really put their address in.
Correct. And if you've ever received in KVCore a lead that just has an address, that is what happened. They bypass doing any information, and all you have is their address. But if you are somewhat aggressive, you can go do a CMA and door knock it.
Yes. We're being aggressive here.
So here, this is what the end report is. The one side can't do it, and that may be because this is a detached condo in Seasons in Woodbridge, and occasionally it has issues where it can't give you an available value. So then this one is only relying on Zillow.
Okay, and that's based specifically off of the company that's doing that, not necessarily the model itself, right? Or the website.
No, it's the data source, which is Adam, and it's a common data source. It's just it seems to have an issue with certain properties.
Okay.
Normally, you only run into this if it's like commercial or mixed use, but for whatever reason, certain condos in Irvine don't pop up.
Okay, gotcha.
But the way you could talk around this is, this is all the more reason why you need to talk to the local realtor and have them do a comparative market analysis for you.
Yep.
So the only other thing with the KVCore is if we remember we talked about squeeze pages and we would do those squeeze pages for individual communities or MLS areas.
Yep.
That's the one different thing that you can do with KVCore versus the other guys, where you could actually do a landing page specifically for Woodbridge or West Park or whatever community you pick, anything that's an MLS area.
So you can do a squeeze in a landing page, which will direct them to the specific site.
Right. And the difference being is instead of it just saying what's your home value, it says the average home price in Woodbridge is, let's say 1.6 million. What's your home worth? So the messaging is slightly different. So if you're hyper locally marketing a specific area, that might be an advantage to you to use the KVCore system.
I'm not quite sure I got my head around that, Eric. Tell me again why that's an advantage.
Well, let me show you. Bear with me here. So the messaging is slightly different. It's market report. So we'll do this one. If I was marketing this area to Lego, it provides a home estimate, which might entice the user to want to participate in this more so than it just being get your home value. So the messaging is slightly more specific, but just in this particular area. Otherwise, it's identical.
Okay, I gotcha.
And the only
So
reason I'm bringing this up is this is you can't really do this in RealScout, and I don't think you can do this in Homebot either.
Okay, gotcha. So outside of the verbiage that's on here saying, hey, the average home is until he goes 2.12, what's yours worth? If you want more information, type in your address.
Yeah, it operates in the exact same way. Like I could put the address and it does exactly what the other system did.
Okay.
So this is the only difference is the messaging. That's the only difference by doing a squeeze page.
All right.
Make sense?
Yeah, I don't think that's,
It's not a defining property by any means, but I
Yeah,
just
is that
want
a-
you-
yeah.
that's really the only
Got
difference
it.
from the
Okay,
end
cool.
from the end user.
I think one last thing I had was notification wise, if someone puts in their average, their address, and how does it notify you? Does it ping you or does it just?
So you're gonna get, it's gonna pop up in KVCore as a down here under your activity. You're also going to get an email notification if you have that set up. And if you have text notifications, you're going to get a text notification of that home valuation request.
So KVCore pop-up, email notification, and a text notification if you have it set up.
Correct.
their email address on their homepage, correct?
Say that again, you broke up.
Yeah, Eric, they have to, that's a maneuver where they have to put their email address so that it appears on the website.
Yes. So I can show you what that
Yeah.
looks like.
Got it.
It's there.
Right.
Wait, that's up here.
Yeah, it's up for them. Yep, there it is. And that has to be added.
That has to be on the site because if you put a tagline there without the email address, then the system doesn't know how to contact you.
Yeah.
So it was a common problem we had a couple of years ago. It's called down, but just keep that in mind.
Sorry, that kind of slipped by me. So that information has to be on your website.
It's a setting.
Okay.
It's a setting. So I believe it's tagline. It needs to include your email address in order for the system to automatically route the leads to you, because it depends on that particular section to do that.
So if that's not set up, what generally happens?
Lead.
They don't get it at all.
Get notification.
You won't get notifications like you'll go into
Doesn't know where to
KVCore
send.
and you'll see,
That was the
things
problem we had like
happening.
last year, huh? Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
like you'll come and see this, but you'll have like, I didn't get notified on this. I didn't get notified. And normally that's the reason.
Okay, I gotcha.
I'm just gonna tell them tomorrow they need to call a tech coach.
Yeah, right.
Call Eric.
Get it set up.
Yeah, and just have it set up. Done.
Yeah, it takes 2 minutes.
Okay, gotcha.
All right. Let me hide the screen. Okay. So let's go ahead and switch over to RealScout. So RealScout, it's a different proposition. So I have this linked on my website. I have QR codes that I drop that go to this. And the difference is the messaging is slightly different. I think it's superior to what KVCore does. Yes, it has what's my home worth, get a free estimate, instantly. But if you come down here, it talks about more of a value. It's like get your home value, compare your home value, or see demand in your area. So the difference is this is asking them to kind of use my tool RealScout, and I'll give you all this information. It's not just a one question, one answer thing. So because of that, I think this draws the prospect in more, and they're more inclined to come back to it because they know it does more than just give them a home value. Because to be quite honest, once they get their home value, they're done. Unless they really want to, unless they're really serious, and at that point they may reach out to you to get a home value. Now, the way that RealScout works is it's because it's not a CRM, it's focused on just nurturing. It does have a drip system, but it's specific to what the prospect is looking for. So they have an option after they get a home value. They're dripped to, hey, would you like to get a market report in your area? Would you like to see listings around your area? And they can participate in that and create their own market alerts, their own property alerts. And because they have those options to do so, they get more indoctrinated to the system and they're more inclined to use it when they get a notification every month of their new home value alert. Does that make sense?
Where on RealScout do you set this up? Is this part of the auto nurture or is this under like the
So this is specifically under home value alert. So I'll go back to
yeah,
this
cool.
this is your, and it's a little confusing because RealScout has two separate dashboards, but the contact section is shared. So that's a little confusing. So
Okay.
this is the normal dashboard. Generally, it's buyers, but as you can see over here, I'm having conversations with these are sellers.
Right.
And same thing over here. However, for me to do anything with the listing, I mean the home value alerts, I have to come down here.
Okay, on the left side under alert.
So, and there's a dashboard under home value alerts.
Okay.
So this is the RealScout Pro thing that is incredibly invaluable, at least in my opinion. So from here, you have your dashboard. What this tracked value, that's a representation of all the clients based on the AVM value of the properties that they have associated with them.
Full tracker value. Okay.
So it's all based on the AVM of the properties that are listed under each context. Some contexts have several properties, so that will increase that value, but that's what this represents. This is the last 30 days, how many emails were delivered to the contact database. This is how many opens in the last 30 days. And then these are the dashboard views. Now the dashboard views is the end user has a similar dashboard, but it's just, it's attributed to like, here's your home value, here's market reports, and here's, you know, a listing alert. Maybe they are looking, maybe they're a Beller and they're looking at property in addition to getting their home value alerts. So that's what a dashboard view is.
Okay.
Down
So,
here,
Eric.
yeah.
Okay, so emails delivered. I don't understand that because I understand RealScout Pro will email the client, right?
Right.
You know, they'll engage, you know, once they request the report, then they get the report. And then how often does RealScout Pro email that client? Like an auto email.
Right. So if you set up the auto nurture setup by default, it's once a month. They're going to get a home value market alert. But in that email, it doesn't just give them a home value. It does, but it also, again, gives them, do you want to look at property? Do you want to get market reports? Do you want to do listing alerts? So it always gives them the option to do more with every message that goes out to them.
99 emails.
But let me show you what the original email looks like. Hold on. So let's pick this guy right here. Now, right now, I just got a text message from RealScout because I was in there. Let's see. Recent activity. So right here, this is what it started off with. Oh, I'm sorry. This is a home value and neighborhood update. So I'll click on that, and this shows me what went out to this particular client. So this is the messaging for the home value alert. Understanding your home value empowers you to make a strategic financial decision to your home investment for your convenience and create this custom home report based on, you see all that. And then right here, click see how your home compares. That pulls them into the system. Now I won't do that because I'm not that person. But you see how different the messaging is here versus here's your home value. That's it.
It's very nice. So now, like KVCore, the agent gets texted, emailed, and it shows up on their dashboard.
Correct. If they're in RealScout, it's going to pop up and they're going to see exactly what's happening in real time. But in addition, if they're set up for text messages, you'll get that, and then also email. It always will email you by default.
Okay, great. Awesome.
So after that, this is like a week later. This is what they get once they've opted in to have a RealScout account. It says, I've created an account for you so we can collaborate. You'll be able to access. And this is where I was talking about. You explore new listings, view market data, track home values. Now you can look at listings here. So it pulls you into the system, and then down here, this is where if they click on this, they can make their own alert. So maybe they're looking into, maybe they live in Woodbridge and they want to go to Orchard Hills. So they can set up a listing alert for a house or an area that they like. And the system will know to drip to them on every part of it that they want to participate in.
That's the major difference.
Yeah, because this is where I think this is far superior, because the messaging and the way that it's outlaid to the prospect, I think it's fresher, it looks cleaner, it's more to the point, and I think it draws them to, again, to participate in it because it's made it so easy for them. Sorry, I didn't get that. You're breaking up on your side.
Did you want to get to now? Did you want to go to Homebot now?
Yeah, let's go to Homebot.
Yeah, because I don't want to go into real deep into the weeds of this program. I just want to really do an overview of the differences. Yeah, yeah, okay, awesome. Thanks.
So Homebot is more like RealScout. It has, a specific purpose. So this is the landing page for Homebot. Yeah. And what we did for John Perez in Anaheim Hills is, on his website, there's a link directly into Homebot for buyers and for sellers, in addition to the AVM that it comes with. So the way that this works, I hope I could type today. I was not finding it.
When you were saying on his website, are you talking about his first team website that there's linked from Homebot from there?
Yes. Yes. All right. It doesn't like this address. Someone give me an address of a listing, or anybody's address.
651 Irene Way, Placentia, California.
Okay.
That was a listing from a couple of years ago.
Gotcha. Good memory.
Thanks.
So this is what this looks like. And so it teases you in a different way. It's like, here's the estimated value of your home. And then, oh, well, I want to know what my net worth value is. I want to know all this stuff. Okay, well, I'm going to have to unlock my report. So now I'm going to have to give my email address. So I go ahead and do that. And then it sent me a link. So let's go to that real quick. So now it's put me into their system. And now I have a call to action to the agent. It shows me the information that I wanted to. And from here, they can go up or down, and the system will tell you whether they think their value is wrong or right. So you know how to have that conversation once that comes to fruition. The messaging here, I think, is superior to the other two, because look how detailed you get. Now it talks about the zip code. It's in high demand and holding steady. See why. But the problem is, what I noticed, 92614 is not the zip code of Placentia. So I don't know why I pulled that up, but.
Now tell me about the demand. What does that represent?
So the demand is showing, I think, days on market. So easier to sell. I would anticipate, yeah, it would be days on market.
Well, yeah, you know what? That's really not demand. That's really supply and demand.
Correct.
So demand to me is how many buyers are closing escrow, or how many views, they're getting online, if that's tracked.
But you can see that on RealScout.
I was just going to say, let's jump back to RealScout really quick, just because you have a very good point. under listing tools, there's something called test the market. And I think this is outstanding for if you, especially if you're working expireds, but you can put in an address here. That's a 3.2. Let's just say we'll sell it for 1,2,500. Yeah. This based on the buyers in their system at that price point. So it's saying 255 buyers at 1.25 million would be interested in a property like this one. So I think this is better than I have a buyer letter because I have 300 potential buyers here. And you can export this to a PDF that you can print out and door knock with. You can include it with your CMA. You could also make it into an image and put it, send it to them via email.
From my understanding on that one though, is that it pretty much only pulls activity directly from RealScout for like the search criteria that people already have, right?
Right.
Whoever's using the tool.
So the talking point around that would be just with this system, there are 255 buyers. That's not including who we have on Zillow, our
Right,
website. Yeah. And I don't know this. I don't remember. I thought we had something similar to this that we could pull up in first place that would show us how many potential buyers in our system would be interested in the property.
We do. We're working on that.
Okay, so it's in the works. Okay. Because I agree, it needs to be a bigger number, but the talking point would just be just in this system, this is what we have. Imagine what we have elsewhere.
Okay, so back to the major features of Homebot. One of the
Yes.
things you said, a customer can check out their net worth. How would they know what my net worth is?
I think that's based on whatever equity they have.
Okay, so just on that one property.
Correct.
Okay,
Because again, you got to remember, this is not
yeah,
it's not really a statistics system. It's lead generation. So it's just enticing them and it may not give the right terminology or,
all this is nebulous if the agent doesn't go door knock and meet the customer. So, yeah.
correct.
I get that part. So net worth is basically, you're talking about their equity. What
Yes.
other features do they have? I know, I subscribed to it for a while and, I can change the value. I can change my amenities to adjust the value. So do the other two allow you to adjust your own value?
No, the only place where you can adjust the estimated value is within that test the market report, but everything else happens automatically.
Yeah. Okay. So are there any other features on Homebot now that are better than RealScout?
I think like the messaging here. So this is that same page where we were looking at, what's going on in this house. Right here, you can have direct messaging straight to the agent here. Should I sell now? How's my neighborhood doing? Ask them a question. It puts it right front and forward. And then up here, thinking of selling your home. If I go into this, it's rather detailed. It talks about high appreciation, how much it's grown over the year, how much it's grown over 5 years, 10 years. Cash position. If you sold your home for this, you'd pay around, so it gives you a lot to think about.
So details of appreciation, numbers as far as equity, does that include fees and everything like that, I guess, put into it, or?
No, I think it's just kind of rudimentary. It's just based on, what 6% commission, you pay 73 grand in fees.
Okay.
And yeah, net this, so it's real basic. And then down here you have some right here, what could you sell for? Gives you a range like everybody else. Then more market insights.
Now, when the customer puts an inquiry in one of those fields, does the agent get notified then?
Yes, the agent is notified again by text, email, and if they're in the system themselves, it'll pop up.
So every time they change something or ask a question, I know that somebody's playing around in there.
You will. And then also too, if you're somewhat sophisticated, you can set up Homebot to shoot over to your CRM, whether it's KVCore or if you're using something else.
So it'll show up on your dashboard.
Correct.
Of anything that you're using.
Correct.
Okay, got it. So Eric, tell me about subscribing now. So I can, are RealScout and Homebot similar where I get 500 people I can subscribe to for $30 a month, and then $10 gets me another 500 people, and I can subscribe people to it, correct?
Yeah, very similar to that. So I think the standard rate for Homebot is $29 a month. If First Team wasn't picking up the tab for RealScout, that's what it would cost us. And then what you would
But First Team picks up that tab.
correct.
Okay, so there's $30 there. That's better than Real Scout versus Homebot.
Right. And
Gotcha.
then like, for
Okay.
instance, here. So you get 100 nurturing contacts. What that means is those are just people being nurtured. You could have 50,000 contacts in here and you don't have to nurture all of them. And in fact, I had 1,000 and I cleared out everybody that's been inactive for 3 months because I figured at this point, if they're not going to answer, then, I'll put them in something else for right now.
Yeah.
So this is for the auto nurture option,
Right.
what you're talking about. Okay, and then
Correct.
here's where it comes down to subscription plans. Got it.
Right.
So
So
50,
there's two different types. It's a little confusing. So you have nurtured contact, and nurtured contact is they're being contacted with something, either it's buyer alerts, listing alerts, home value alerts, it's all of them. So it goes in groups of 500. So, to add 500, it's $10 a month, 20 if I go to 1,000, because you get 100 free. So it just goes on and on, but it's, somewhat reasonable for the amount of nurturing that you get. I myself am just using the nurturing. I don't have the plan for the home value alerts because I see it, they're kind of utilizing that over here too. And I'd rather have them participate in all the aspects of the system rather than just focused on the home value alerts. This is specific to home value alerts. So you have different tiers. So you could have 50 homes that are getting home value alerts on any given month. And that's what these represent.
Real Scout Pro, the agent pays nothing. And how
No.
many?
Yeah, First Team is picking up the tab for RealScout Pro. So there's no monthly cost for us.
Right, but to get the AVM subscriptions of 500 people, how much does that cost?
$59 a month.
Okay, so it is an addition to what First Team's paying.
It is.
Okay, gotcha. So Homebot is like $30 and this is like almost twice as much.
True, but I think with Homebot, it's kind of the same tier, I guess. Yeah, I guess it would be more because First Team's covering the tab and they're about the same.
With what First Team covers, how many people does it cost for them for auto nurturing that's still under that free subscription?
Yeah, so for no cost, you only get 100. So that's
100,
start
okay.
off with. That's the standard amount.
So free for 100, anything above that, you're paying an additional amount depending on what tier you're on.
Basically, $10 a month for every 500.
Okay, got it.
Let's see, where's my Homebot screen? Bear with me here.
Now, Eric, there's kind of like two functions that I see. One is lead gen and the other is proactively subscribing.
Correct.
So on one hand, we want to get these QR codes out there and engage with people that want to know how much their house is worth. That's lead generation.
Correct.
The second part of these programs are, calling your past clients in Sphere and saying, you know what, I pay for this and I would like to know if you'd like a subscription, paid for by me, to get a monthly report. So it's a way that we can proactively subscribe our past clients in SOI and or the people in our farm and engage with them and saying, I'm paying for this service for the people in this particular development. Would you like to get notifications once a month? And then we subscribe them.
Yes, absolutely. Or, if you were using a QR code when you're dropping or mailing out postcards with a home value, I would steer them to either Homebot or RealScout, whichever one you choose, because they have a superior way of nurturing the contact. Like, of course, you need to stay in contact with them, but the system kind of gives them stuff to play with until you can reach out to them again. And
Do they have to be under the auto nurture in order for them to, or does it automatically put them in there once they scan everything?
the system will alert you if you've gone over. So let's just say you have 100 contacts and you get up to like 125. It'll tell you you're 25 over, so you need to purchase some more seats to nurture them. Or if you're very budget minded conscious, there's an agent that I was working with. She didn't want to pay the extra $9.99 a month, so she went in and cleared out that many contacts to where she wasn't nurturing those guys. But they were in the system, but she just wasn't nurturing them automatically with the system.
So, so really, you want to put your past clients in there, you want to put your SOI in there.
I would, because it's a not only a great lead generation tool, but it's a great nurturing tool, because we
Yeah.
can't always get in touch with these guys when we want to do it, and this will kind of do it for us.
Yeah, and then instead of just blindly putting, 200 people in your farm in there, you'd want to do like a contest and say, I'm paying for this for the first 50 people that reply, I'm gonna pay for your home valuation subscription, for the next year. And then now you're consciously getting people to say, I want to know how much my house is worth, as opposed to just putting it out there and to people that are not interested.
100%. And I think that's a fantastic idea, because, as you know, when I've talked to Alan about this, I tested the blind approach.
Yeah.
And one purpose of it, and I don't want to go off on a tangent, but I did it because I'm putting together a program of how to take over a farm. And I used it for visibility, to get my face out there in front of these guys before I started putting my signs up and knocking their doors.
Yeah.
So, but I had a different purpose of doing that. So
Right.
your numbers are always going to be far higher if you're reaching out to your SOI or a farm that you're already working, because they're familiar with you and they're more inclined to click on it.
Yeah, I know you watched your numbers. I know some of our numbers here are, the agents are experiencing 40% that of who they subscribe are checking their values regularly. Is that about the number you're getting to?
Yeah, and I think that's outstanding, because there's nothing else that's producing those kind of numbers.
Yeah, exactly. So
Not even our market reports or Wire are producing numbers like that.
you subscribe 100 people to it, 40 of them are going to engage on a semi-regular basis.
100%. Like, where is it?
So is budget the only reason you wouldn't just use it on the entire farm?
Um,
40% is a pretty impressive number, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you know what, you've got 100% emails where you are,
Yeah.
so I mean, you can,
But I
you
got-
can make it exclusive, Max, and say, and do a contest.
Yeah.
Like the
Mhm.
first 50 or the first 100,
And then-
and then you can say there was so much demand, I've opened it up to another 100. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And thanks, and that way people are like, wait a minute, 100 people are subscribed, I want on too.
Yeah, because you're going to create a sense of urgency with that.
Here.
Yes, Eric, it creates exclusivity.
Right, engaging, yeah, totally.
Yeah, okay. And then, yeah, so that's the open rate on their values. And
Right.
then,
And I just want to say, this is from dead cold leads. These guys did not know who I am. I've never met them.
Right.
And still I got 128 out of 700.
yeah, and I think, and you know this already too, the key is they're on Eric Duncan's site, branding Eric Duncan, and they're not on Zillow.
Right.
Because they make an inquiry on Zillow, they go to a premier agent that spends $1,200 a month, and they're located in Corona. This is branding you, it's getting you Inc. And it's giving you a wake-up call every time they play with it, that, hey, maybe I need to go reach out to them again. Thanks for taking a look at the valuation tool again. Have you thought about making the move this coming up here?
Mhm.
Okay, gotcha. Now,
Um,
so there's the engagement rate, you're experiencing about the same, about 40%. Now,
Yes.
on the lead gen side, for the ones that are not subscriber, I'm finding that they're getting like 5% scans. So if you send out 100 pieces, five people are saying, I want to know how much my house is worth, to start the lead gen process. Is that what you're seeing too, or do you have the lead gen numbers on
I'm on
scans?
this thing right now.
Oh, okay.
I actually had, Nancy actually sent out 1,500 pieces and got 80 scans, so that equated to 7%.
Yeah. I
so-
did a test 2 months ago.
Yeah,
I used the same flyer and I did KVCore and passed out, I think it was like 500. Then I switched the QR code over to RealScout, and I saw I think it was something like 4 times the amount of people that were scanning than they did initially. And it was the same flyer.
Really? What do you think?
So that tells
Yeah.
me they didn't like, I don't understand, but I did change the QR code on the first group that I sent out. And they went back to scan it again, and that's where I saw increasing numbers because they actually were added to the system versus just getting a value and then never talking to them again. And that was the difference.
Okay, so when they went to KVCore, they got their value. When they went to RealScout, they got so much more and hung around.
Right. And then they stayed in the system. Like I have people from 6 months ago that look in here every month, and they have a couple of them have home value or alerts. So I stay in touch with them because they might be a beller and they're looking in other areas. So they may want to cash out and move somewhere else. And I wouldn't have had any of that had I not used the RealScout link versus using the normal AVM with KVCore.
Got it.
How can we switch the your code from the RealScout to KB to the
From KVCore to RealScout.
yeah.
Eric,
You can
Yeah.
repurpose your QR code and redirect it. So yeah, you would just repurpose the same QR code. You don't need to create a new QR code.
No, if you create a dynamic QR code, you just come into RealScout, and this is under home value alerts. There's this capture leads spot right here. Click here. This is your RealScout link to home values. So you just copy this link, and you would change your QR code to use this link instead of your first team link.
That's what he just.
And where that works really well is anything you've already passed out will change over. So again, you have the ability to capture them.
Yeah.
Still.
Yes. You want to take a screenshot of that real quick? She's gonna take a screenshot of that, and this is being recorded, Marcella.
Oh, okay.
So you can fast forward 30
Oh,
minutes
sure.
into this, but nonetheless, you can, we're lucky to have Eric here, so you can talk
A couple
to.
hours of his time.
Yeah. So Eric, you may want to, good point, Max. You may want to, on Thursday's sales meeting, just say, we introduce this. But if you guys want one-on-one now, let's do a group one-on-one, now that you've got this level. And we'll get you set up on RealScout, or we'll redirect your QR code on RealScout, or whatever they want to do now that we've done this part.
Absolutely.
So kind of don't do this over, just say, now that we know the differences, select one and let's get you set up on one or the other.
Right.
Okay, gotcha. Okay,
So the only thing that I missed is with Homebot, it has the ability for you to be sponsored. So if you're working with a particular loan officer, they can pick up the tab and you can have, collaborative leads. And that's something unique to Homebot.
okay. Yeah, I'm not crazy about going public with that, Eric, because our newer agents have gotten screwed over by lenders that they have no idea and have no relationship with, and they're like, now they blew out their deal.
No,
So
that's a good point. So when I say that, it's
relationships are so
if you have
key.
a good relationship with a lender that you've known for
good
years.
lenders with good relationships,
Yeah, don't ever
Hey,
go with somebody because they offer to pay something for you, because that's
Yeah.
like, don't take candy from a stranger out of a van.
Okay, there's a visual, and
right,
you know what, that's very true, Eric.
right.
That's good, I like it.
For pricing for Homebot, because I know we talked about RealScout, but it's saying on here $25 a month
You get
And then
500
$50
clients.
for 500 clients, and then $50 as a one-time setup fee.
Well, you got to look real careful, because the first part, yes, that's included. But down here, all of this with the stars
Yeah.
requires a lender co-sponsor, which means it's more money.
Okay.
So they're both about the same price. They just divvy it up a different way.
All
But
right.
I would say, if I were to, really simplify it, Homebot's a little more techy. There's a little bit more information. RealScout, I think, does a better job with the nurturing, in my opinion. And that's really the big differences between the two.
And we have very strict laws about lenders and kickbacks here in California. So by law, the lender can only pay the exact proportion that they're occupying. So if they're occupying
Right.
25% of the space, they can only pay for 25% of the space. They can't
Correct.
pay for all of it, and that's where the violation comes in. So our agents need to be cautious of that.
Yeah, that's a very good warning, and I would just, again, be very skeptical if someone offers to pay for something for you for that very fact. So if you have any questions about that, reach out to me, reach out to Alan, Rich, Dan, and we can, let you know.
Yeah, okay, cool. Questions, guys?
You got enough
That was good,
information.
right?
Yeah. Thank you, Eric.
Eric,
Oh, you're welcome. My pleasure.
thank you.
And thank you guys for bearing the rain and not melting in it like,
Yeah,
everybody else today.
yeah, we're good, man.
All
Thank you
right.
so much. I'll see you Thursday.
I'll see you Thursday.
Sounds good.
All right. See you guys later.
Um,